if you don't hit the mandatory pose the way it's supposed to be done, then you should just lose that pose automatically. Like that should just be like, yep, you're DQ'd from that pose.
I've actually seen conversation going around now of the judges' score sheets being changed altogether to include a column for muscularity, symmetry and proportions, conditioning.
Yeah, it's going to get tricky with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with the judges. I think it's okay to have 5 or 6 individuals who are very experienced and have agreed with the executives of the IFBB what they're looking for each division.
Nobody is looking to add more into bodybuilding competitions right now. The conversation is around less, saving time for all of the athletes' sake.
Those other divisions, I think they need to do something with the amount of shows that they're having, because there's so many shows, dude. Maybe we just need less shows. Like maybe you should only have 30 shows that qualify people for the Olympia.
I believe Dan Solomon said that he was going to put more of an emphasis on a black backdrop at the Olympia this year, which even just that is going to be a pretty significant change.
It's absolutely necessary to me. It's necessary at all these shows. I just want to bring my best. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make that happen. And as far as being successful in life, it doesn't get better than that for me.
We're rolling. What's going on, Morgan?
Hey, man. How's it going? Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, man. Thanks for coming on. This close.
Congrats on the 5,000 subscribers, buddy.
Thanks, man. Thanks. Yeah, that was a good one. I was happy to get one. There's something about that 5,000 mark that I was like, okay, this is good. We can build off of this now.
I'm over 3,000 now because I've been posting like once or twice a week now with prep going on, and I think I gained 300 followers in the last like 4 weeks or something like that. So it's going up.
I've been following your channel. Yeah, your views are going up. I think you're like 3.16 strong or something like that now. So
yeah,
it's getting more by now.
Yeah, I got a good thing with videographer now, and she's takes care of me, does all my editing, so putting out good quality stuff. So I'm just gonna keep that going now, because I'm actually gonna do Tampa, and then I'm doing Texas, and then I'm doing Germany in September as well. Yeah.
Well, I knew about Tampa. I did not know about Texas and Germany.
Yeah, well, I mean, it seems crazy not to do Texas if you're doing Tampa. It's just 1 week after, right?
So you're gonna stay in the States and just travel over to Texas.
Yeah. So basically, I'll do the Tampa Pro on August 2nd. I think that's a Saturday. Yeah, it is. And then I head to Texas on the Tuesday, and then I think we can Texas on that Saturday. Yeah.
Okay, so that puts you at 3 weeks out right now.
3 weeks out from Tampa, 4 weeks out from Texas. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I've got a few shots that you sent me. You good? I'll bring these up.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, I took these this morning.
This morning. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's the current weight sitting at right now?
So we were like 298 this morning after a few high days, but to be honest, like these high days are probably like 600-700 grams of carbs. And I did my first one Tuesday. I was like 297.5. And then after 3 of them, I only came up to 298. So we're doing a low carb day today. So I'm expecting to hit a new low weight tomorrow.
Only came up to 298. Yeah. What kind of calories are you hitting right now? I thought you were hitting something crazy like 5,000 calories or something. Am I right about that?
No, well, I mean, in my off season, I was at like 7,000 a day. But right now, on like a typical day, I think it's like 4,400.
Okay.
Today is probably closer to like 4,000, if that, maybe a little bit under.
And that's still a lot.
My lowest carb day, I think, was like 3,400. Yeah, 3,400. So
okay.
We're bouncing around. Yeah. It changes
okay.
I check in with my coach every day, and then he just sends me a diet. So it's almost a different diet.
Well, that's what you want at this point, right? You make those minute changes on a daily basis, see how you respond at this point. I mean, the conditioning at this point, 3 weeks out, it's not looking too bad. If you were to just cut the water, suck down, I mean, you'd see a lot of detail come through these hamstrings, glutes, things like that, right? The back detail you can see is there. So it's just a matter of, pulling the water, maybe sucking down a little bit more, but it's looking pretty good.
Exactly. 100%. Like, things dropped really fast the last week. Like for until we started doing those high days, I was dropping like a pound and a half or 2 pounds like every day for like 8 or 9 days. So that's why we did a few high days in a row to slow that down a bit. So I'd imagine this week we'll probably be pushing a bit harder just to get like another layer of fat off. I think there's a little bit left on like my lower back, like my back could definitely be tighter. But then I think once we do that, like we'll be in a good spot just to pull water. Because that's the thing about me too. Like I'm a water buffalo, man. Like for how much carbs I need to eat, like I'm gonna hold water. And then obviously we're still on GH and things like that. And when you take these, when you take those things out like a week before the show, that'll take 3 or 4 pounds of water off you right there. Right. So there's all these like last minute tweaks that are gonna really help bring in those details even more.
Well, this detail in the side leg, even from what you can see now, like you've got a decent cut, like in the quads. You can see that the hamstring to glute separation is coming in, man. Like, yeah, I mean, you're gonna have some work to do. There's no doubt, but man, you can definitely suck down. I think to bring your best yet. This is easily your biggest. There's no question.
Oh yeah, we got. I mean, I think
Jesus,
at
man.
this point, my prep in 2023, I was probably 270, maybe lower.
Holy shit. That
So
is
yeah,
wide, dude. Like this is very, very wide. That's nuts.
yeah, it's a big shot. Yeah,
Fuck.
yeah. I think I'm going to surprise a lot of people when I'm up next to other guys because that's when my structure really shines through. Like when I'm in pictures by myself, it's kind of hard to tell.
Shit. Yeah. Yeah. Well, in this shot, it's not her to tell.
Right?
That's for damn sure.
Well, thank you.
That's man, very, very impressive. I know the legs really came up here, and that balance between the upper and lower body is something that you definitely improved on over this last year.
Yeah, dude, 100%. Like the legs have always kind of been there, but they grew like for sure. And then my upper body came up a ton. Like the thickness front to back, my arms are measuring like 22.5 inches cold and and everything is there. My biggest thing I'm working on now, honestly, is my waist because I think with how much food I had to eat for so long in the off season to put on the size that I needed, things expand, right? So I've actually in the last week have been incorporating like a lot more vacuums and like waist control type stuff to help just kind of bring my taper in a little bit.
Yeah, it shows. It shows. You can see even here, you're really pulling it in, and from here, you still got that ab definition. I think this is a big improvement, man.
Well, that's a good thing about it. It's like even if my belly's poking out a little, like I have really good abs. Like
The
my
abs are
abs
there, yeah.
are really
Oh yeah.
developed, right? So that can kind of help me, and when it comes to like the giving up a little room on like the waist thickness. Because some of these guys I'm competing against got some small waist, right? So
Yeah, you're going to run into that, but you're going to have the size over these guys. I mean, not just the size, muscularity wise, but you'll tower over these guys, right? You'll take up a lot of space on that stage.
yeah, yeah. And like you said, the lines and
Crazy,
stuff
man.
are coming in. Like, we got lines everywhere now, and they're just going to keep getting deeper and better.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, three shows this year after what was your last show? Was it Vancouver?
Yeah, in 2023.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, 2023 exactly, right? So to hit three in a row, man, that's going to be really really good.
Yeah, I'm excited, dude. Like this prep, like compared to my last preps, like this prep has been easy because I have a really good coach. We're really focused on keeping the size. I'm not even for cardio. I'm just like walking my dog, um, and my last preps, like I felt like I was just trying to survive every day. Like, 90 minutes of hard cardio, like barely eating, no energy to train, no pumps, getting hurt in the gym because I was so depleted. Um, and then I didn't even have time. I was so dead, I couldn't even like practice posing. So my posing suffered once I got on stage. Like it was just not a good recipe. And this has been a totally different experience. So I know my thing here is like I almost feel like I've already won because I know I'm bringing like such an improved package. At this point, it's just about fine tuning it and just getting back up there and see where we stand now. With all the work that's been done, really.
So where you stand compared to the last time you took the stage?
What do you mean?
Like, do you mean the comparison with yourself or the comparison with others, or maybe a combination of both, really?
Well, yeah, both. I know I'm going to be way better than I was. Obviously, like I have a
That's
ton
for
of
damn sure. Yeah.
tons of muscle in, right? Um, so now it's what I'm interested to see is like, does this look competitive? Because again, like you don't really know until you get up next to these other guys. But I feel like right now, even like you said, like I think I could pull water right now and still look good up there and have a stage worthy physique. Because like the size is there, the lines are there. My biggest thing is that I don't want to. Like, I'm trying not to get too hung up on the condition because with me being a taller guy, like I got to be willing to sacrifice a little bit of condition to keep the fullness and the size. You know what I mean? Because I was peeled out of my mind. My like because like the Toronto show, my pro debut was a complete fail. Vancouver, we actually brought a better package. We came in 10 pounds heavier. Like we ate a lot more going into the show. Like we did what we could. And I was peeled to the bone. But when a guy that has my structure that's so tall and big is that lean, you lose fullness and then you look kind of slender up there, even though you're peeled. So, and I mean, you see that now, even the top guys, like, yeah, there's some guys that are really shredded that win show, but a lot of guys that win are kind of just have a more balanced look. Like you could even talk about Samson. Like Samson's never that hard from the back, you know? Glutes are kind of there, not really always lower back's a little soft, but there's just so much mass and density that it's overwhelming. You know what I mean? Even Andrew Jack is another guy. Like the lines are there, everything's there, but it's not like crispy. You know what I mean? So this is obviously what we're observing. You know, I'm one of these tall guys. Like you put me next to Andrew, I'm sure. I mean, we're going to look different. He's a freak, but structurally, the size, the amount of space we take up is similar, right? So I'm trying to just really focus on that balance of fullness and conditioning to bring like a more complete package. Not necessarily like, oh, let's be the most shredded guy. Like that's not going to work for me, right? I need to be fucking big and full. And as long as I have those lines and like, some glute striations and hamstrings are separated, I'll be good.
Now, the guys that really suck down, I mean, you talk about Andrew Jack. You remember Andrew Jack at the 2023 Arnold Classic when he defeated, or he came third place behind, he was behind Nick and Samson at that show. It was 2023? Yeah, it was 2020. So Andrew pulled the card of being totally shredded out of his mind, dude. He was ridiculous. It was the most shredded he has ever been on stage, but he lost the limbs. There was no fullness in those limbs, and he looked probably his worst.
Yeah, you're
You
free,
know?
right? And then
Yeah,
the big guys too, the shoulders go, the lats go, everything becomes more like slender, right? You kind of look
yeah,
like a big athlete up there. Whereas like guys like me, I know me, like especially my shoulders, like I got to be full for my shoulders to be popping. And when my shoulders are full, that makes the whole physique. When my shoulders flatten out, everything just kind of looks like it looks more like a triangle rather than like an X frame, right? So
yeah. That's right.
that's what we're keeping a close eye on.
Okay, so you've got for Tampa that I know of right now, you've got Justin Shire. He's going for Tampa.
Yeah.
Quint Eastwood, he's going for Tampa. Is Robin doing Tampa, or is he just concentrating on Italy?
Just Italy.
Okay, okay. I wasn't sure. I thought he was thinking about Tampa, but that'll be a good show for him. Um, who the hell else is showing up in Tampa? The Patrick Moore, he's showing up there. So,
Justin Savoie.
oh, Justin Savoy, he's getting on stage.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. He's Dorian's prepping him as well.
He's had a long off season, man.
But his last show was Vancouver 2023.
Oh, he was there too. Okay.
Term pro at that show. He was at it.
Ah,
Yeah, he was at it.
okay. Okay, that's why I missed it. Yeah, he's one guy that really had to put on a lot of size. I know he's put on a lot of size the last time I saw him. We'll see what it looks like when he takes the stage, right? It's always the question of when you put on substantial size, how you going to show up after putting that size on, right?
Yeah, he's big boy, man. Justin's big, for a tall guy, he got the legs, he got good delts. He's gonna be good. He's gonna be good. Yeah.
It's Canadian takeover in Tampa, man. I love it.
Yeah, we got a good crew going up there. Yeah, I think that's all I really know for Tampa. I thought Tampa was going to be bigger, but I don't know if there's going to be that many guys. I think we might get 10, maybe 12 there.
Yeah, I think that's what you're going to see for the rest of the shows this season before the Olympia. You know, there was a lot of guys that got on stage multiple times in the first half of the season.
Yeah, a lot of
You
guys
know,
competed early. Yeah,
a
and
lot. Oh yeah, multiple shows,
yeah,
multiple. Right?
Texas will be a bit bigger because you're going to have a lot, like pretty much all the same guys from Tampa, and then you're going to have like John Jewett, Jordan Hutchinson,
Yep.
Justin Wyatt, Jordan Wyatt, Justin Wyatt. You know him?
I know who you're talking about. I'm
Yeah,
not sure which it
I think he
is.
trains with Jordan.
Yeah.
I think it's Justin Wyatt. Yeah. Um, and then yeah, so then like you throw especially you throw three of those guys in the lineup, things get more competitive, right?
Yeah. Patrick's going to do that as well. He's going to do Hava and Texas. So
Yeah,
another name in there.
I'm looking forward to competing against him. Yeah, I've seen him compete for many years, and he improved a lot just this season, like from his first show to his second show. So it'll be interesting to see what he brings as well. He's
Yeah, it will.
he's gonna look pretty small next to the Canadians, though. Yeah,
Dude, he's
yeah,
going to look small standing next to you. That's for damn sure.
yeah. That's the thing about
Crazy.
between me, Justin, and Quentin, man. That's like 300-pound, over 6 foot guys that are gonna. I think it's just gonna shake it up for the judges, because the judges are gonna see three of us. We're all tall guys with big legs, like we're filled out. Like it really turns the lineup into apples and oranges. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm interested to see, where they go, with the judging in that case, because you're gonna have some smaller guys there that are probably gonna have good shape and condition, and then you're gonna have us like mass monsters up there just taking up a ton of space, right?
I think the Mass Monsters are making a comeback in the Pro League, to be honest with you.
It seems like they're looking for some big boys to kind of represent that open division to me. You know what I mean?
Well, that's who's showing up.
Yeah, yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's who's showing up. So it's easy to do those comparisons when the majority of the lineup, is carrying that size or even are just big guys to begin with, just walking around in everyday life, right? Like you're 6 foot, you're 6 foot, add a bunch of muscle on top of that. And the comparison between all of them, that's where the judges, I think, are going to end up, that's where their eyes are going to be caught.
yeah, exactly. I mean, at the end of the day, it's bodybuilding, right?
That's right.
Muscle needs to come first. Like if I got my quads are 10 inches bigger than the guy next to me, that should stand for something. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's how I look at
And
it.
I think it does now. No,
Yeah,
I think it does now, which I like that. The emphasis with the aesthetics and conditioning is definitely still there,
yeah.
but there's just more bigger guys showing up, and like you
I think
said,
it's
this
just
is
a balance
bodybuilding.
they're looking for, right? It's like they know, like they want us to be big, right? They just don't want us to be like big and sloppy, like
Yeah.
I don't think I think they understand how it works. Like for us to get big, like our waists are going to be a little bit bigger and stuff like that. Like, but it's just as long as I think as long as we're up there controlling it, holding our abs and presenting ourselves as best as we could, I really do feel like that's what they're looking for.
Yeah, okay, okay. A lot of the changes that you made after Vancouver 23, was a lot of that based on judges' feedback, or were these just things that you noticed yourself?
Well, man, honestly, when I stepped off Vancouver stage, I was so happy because like what happened in Toronto was super disappointing, and then to turn it around and like I just looked because my buddies were backstage, and as soon as I got off from prejudging, I'm like, let me see what I look like, and I saw what I looked like, and I was like so happy. I was like, I'm good. I was like, that's the best I could have been, right? Because the conditioning and everything was on point. But I knew right away, I was like, if I'm going to be competitive with these guys, like I need more size, like like a lot more size. So I knew instantly in that moment I had to shut it down. So yeah, then I just went fully dedicated into the off season. I took a bit of a health phaser after Vancouver, moved myself to Toronto, started training at Pure, and that's when I just like hooked up with Dorian and just flipped the switch and like, and I knew from past experience, it's like when you're trying to put on substantial size, like I knew I needed like 20 pounds of tissue, which is like pretty much exactly what I did. Like you got to get big and you got to stay big because like if you just get big, like a lot of guys will do a short off season, they'll do an off season, and then next thing you know, they're in prep again. Your body will burn off that new muscle first, right? You need to get big and stay big and let that muscle marinate over time and let it become your new homeostasis. And it got to the point where I was like, okay, when I got to 340, like holding 340 was hard. It took a lot of effort, but holding 330 was easy. And in previous off seasons, holding 330 was like, I felt like I was going to die. When I was 330 this off season, it was easy to eat the food. I still felt like I could move, I could breathe, I could train hard. So that's when I knew, okay, this is my body's new normal. Like this muscle has officially stuck, right? And that's what I'm seeing now because I got all this fat off, right? Barely doing any cardio, just like rotating high carb days, low carb days. And I've held every bit of it. And my training performance in the gym is staying higher. I'm keeping my strength, my pumps are good, which in past preps, my strength would plummet at 8 weeks out. And I couldn't get a pump if I wanted to. So it's like I think all of these things is really what's making like the biggest difference. And then having a coach like Dorian that understands like Okay, conditioning is not just pushing fat off the body. Of course, it's part of it. You have to lose fat, but if you lose all the fat, but you're so flat and depleted that the muscle's not pushing against the skin, you're not even going to look that conditioned. You're going to look smooth. So he knows we need to get lean, like get most of the fat off, but then have that muscle fullness and density there. Once we fill out, cut water, have that muscle push it up against that dry skin, and then that's the look that we're going for, right? So
Nah, I know you. You didn't take the last 2 years to fuck this up. Now I know what you're like.
oh dude, I'm in OCD mode, bro. Like I haven't had a cheat meal since March, bro.
What?
Nothing off plan since March.
Nothing. This coming from Morgan MacDonald that was eating two muffins with a meal in his off season.
Yeah, but again, like that's all shit I had to do. I needed those
I
calories,
remember.
right?
But
But now, yeah, like I told Dorian at the start of this prep, I was like, no cheat meals, dude. I was like, because they just fuck with my head more than anything when I eat those things because you don't really know what's in it. You eat a cheat meal, the next day you're all bloated and stuff. Where it's like this time, like, and I think by not having those big cheat meals that are super high in fat, like the burgers and fries, anytime we want to do a high day, he just gives me a bunch of more clean carbs, more rice, more cream of rice, which I love eating both of those things. They digest really well for me. And it gives my body more real fuel to use. And I stay lean, right? Like I just did those 3 high carb days the last 3 days and I didn't even gain a pound, but my waist came in, I got harder, I look fuller. So my body's just taking that food that it knows what to do with and actually utilizing it, right?
yeah, you're not fucking around.
Dude, I haven't even done like I went into this prep and I think when I got to like it was probably like 14 weeks out, I was like, okay, like no more like condiments. So like, and when I say that, I mean like those like low calorie condiments.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sponsored by a company Robico. Like they're amazing. They have all these low calorie condiments. So if you're just like living normal lifestyle or like in the off season, they're great, right? Because you can add this stuff to your food, add flavor, and it's not going to add a bunch of sugar like a normal barbecue sauce would, for example. But they still have calories. So I decided early in this prep, I'm like, okay, let's not even have that variable in play. You know what I mean? Because if you're putting 20 calories of low calorie barbecue sauce in every meal, like that shit's going to add up, and ultimately it's going to take away from how much whole food that you can eat. And the whole food is what's going to drive training performance and fuel your body. So I just been, I'll put some seasoning like on my chicken and fish when I cook it. And besides that, I just add a quarter teaspoon of pink salt to each meal and maybe like a bit of black pepper. And that's just what I've been doing the whole prep
You still got the blueberries in with your chicken and rice?
on training days. Yeah.
On trading days, yeah. Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't try that yet. It looks fucking gross, dude.
And the key is you gotta put the rice and the blueberries in first and kind of like mix it. And then I'll put the chicken on top and and salt the chicken. So then I eat this like salty chicken first, and then I eat the rice and blueberries as like a dessert.
Okay, I could see at the point that you're at, being 3 weeks out, even weeks before that, not having to cheat since March, especially. Holy shit. I could see it being good. I could see it in that sense. I did actually look at some chicken and rice that I made there. What was it? Last week, I think, when we were talking about it. And I had some frozen blueberries, and I was like, man, maybe I'll give it a shot. And I was like, nah, I can't do it. It doesn't look right to me, man. It's one of them things that I haven't seen anybody else do. Like, where'd you even come up with that shit?
Well, honestly, so it just so happens that that's my post-workout meal. That's in my plan. And I always eat my post-workout meal at the gym because I usually finish up training around like 5 o'clock, and that's like the busiest time for traffic in Toronto. So what I'll do now is like because it's nice because before after the workout I'd have to like rush home and to eat, and then sometimes I'd be late for my meal, and then I'd be late for my last two meals, and then I'd end up going
Yeah.
late. It would mess up my whole routine, right? So by taking my post-workout meal to the gym, I can do my training, I can practice posing for 20 minutes, I can do my tanning, and then I can just sit there in the gym lobby and eat my meal. And then by the time I get all that, traffic is done. And then I got all that stuff done. I can just go home, take my dog out for a walk or something, and then it's time for the next meal. So yeah, so basically the reason why I eat the blueberries and the chicken and rice is because it's my post-workout meal and I have to take it to the gym with me. And I remember the first day, I was like, should I eat the blueberries in like a separate container or something? Like, and I was like, well, that's just inconvenient and kind of like gay to like eat like a big thing of chicken and rice, and then what I'm just gonna eat like fucking 70 grams of blueberries like by themselves. I was like, so I was like, oh, whatever, I'll just fucking dump it in and see how it is. And then the thing is, when you're this lean and this hungry,
Yeah.
it all tastes good, bro. It all.
Yeah,
If I was in the off season, I probably would never do that shit.
I still do got to try it. Fuck. Someday I will.
It will surprise you.
Yeah, but look, it just might, man. It just might. Like I've eaten some, not that crazy, I don't think, but eh. Anyway, you said you do an outdoor cardio too. You just take your dog for walks. How often do you do that?
Yeah, so basically now, because like for when we were really trying to push the fat off, we were doing more like treadmill cardio. I was doing like I got to like 45 minutes in the morning, fasted cardio treadmill.
Yeah,
And that's when I was dropping weight like crazy fast, right? So then we kind of backed off of that. So now I'll just take my dog for two like half an hour walks a day, maybe 30, 40 minutes, just light walking though. Just I live in this really nice area downtown Burlington. There's like a nice waterfront walking area there, like in a park. So I
yeah.
like going out there. It's just honestly nice and peaceful and it makes me happy going down there. So and I think each those walks are probably 3,500, 4,000 steps. So most days I'm at like 10,000 steps basically. Yeah.
I think it's good to get outside for part of your prep too, man. I just think that makes a difference, holistically that a lot of people overlook.
It was nice. Like it's so nice here to the weather, bro. Like every day here is like sunny and 30. I'll just get up, like go off, no shirt on, get a tan, walk my dog, start my day. And then when I come home from the gym, I'll take him out again, do the same thing. And that's what that way he gets his walks in and I'm doing something that's good for my prep. So yeah, it definitely keeps you in like a positive headspace.
No, that's golden, man. I actually did a hike today. My sister arranged it. It was my two sisters and my brother. We were planning on doing a hike over on the north side of the Cabot Trail here in Cape Breton, but we ended up actually, the place was so busy that Parks Canada closed it down. So we kept going around the trail. We did another one called Franey Mountain, which was a lot more challenging and took a lot more time. It was 12.8 kilometers round trip that it took us. And I think the elevation was 400 meters, maybe 450, if I'm not mistaken. And it was like 22 degrees, 23 degrees throughout the 3.5 hours that we were hiking. So it was a mission, man. It was a mission. But you just feel good being outside doing that shit, right?
Dude, if I did something like that, the first place I'd go after is McDonald's.
Ah,
I'd be
man, I
putting
thought about it.
I'd be putting all those calories right back.
Yeah, I thought about it, but now my sister, well, me and my mother bought into a meal prep company there a number of years ago. So my sister works there as well.
Oh,
So
I didn't know that.
yeah, yeah. So she just said, I'll make the food. So she had like chicken wraps with like ancient grain wraps and veggies and all the shit that I typically don't end up getting for myself. So it was really good.
Yeah, well, you're eating good anyway, so that's good.
Oh yeah. No, I always usually get in at least half decent, we'll say half decent
Yeah, yeah,
for a
yeah.
guy like me. Yeah, I was I was pretty dead by the end of it though. Fuck man, like
Yeah,
I'm gonna
that's
crash and burn.
yeah, that's a good hike.
Yeah, I'm not how do I say it? I'm not well versed in hiking this time around. I used to do a lot of it actually, especially up the highlands, but yeah, less time for that these days, that's for damn sure. But yeah, I was just when I got back though, I was scrolling through Instagram. We were talking about it before we hit record. You saw this thing, Nick Walker commenting on an amateur 50-year-old bodybuilder that had a rather bizarre routine. Actually, when I listened to it, it was a Kid Rock song that he actually had going that he did a routine to. And for anybody that saw it, like this guy was not in shape, by any stretch, and it was an amateur show, a 50-year-old guy. Nick kind of on the side of let this guy just do what he's doing, and you had both sides of the fence from what I could see. Some people that were more on the side of, well, this is, not holding up the integrity of the sport of bodybuilding, and then the others that you're taking it too seriously. I don't know, man. I mean, you've got to get on stage and you've got to do this in a few weeks. How do you feel about something like that?
I don't understand why people do bodybuilding shows when they're fat. Like, I don't understand that. Like I don't know what goes through their head. Like, first of all, like to get up, especially at like a high level show, where there's people there who like devote their whole life to it and take it very seriously, and then you take up people's time after not even dieting or like what it even doesn't even look like you train. And then not only do you do that, you get up and obviously do something where you're trying to draw attention to yourself. You're doing it for attention on social media, just for like 15 minutes of fame. I don't know why you think that's a good idea because it doesn't look good. Like people are just kind of mock you. Um, I just my brain just doesn't work that way. Like it's really understand. So I just look at something like that and I'm just like, oh, this guy's an idiot. Like that's all I think. It's not a joke. Like this is a real sport. Like, so don't do that shit. And even these people, listen, man, if you're someone who loses a lot of weight or something like that, and it's your dream to get up on stage and you really put the work in, and maybe you still don't look great, but you lost like 100 pounds or something, like, okay, more power to you, but like go up there and present yourself how you're supposed to present yourself. Like there's bodybuilding routines, there's lots of them online, maybe watch a few, right, and see how it's supposed to look. But don't get up there and dance and scream and mouth words. I don't like, what are you trying to do? Like I don't know how to, yeah, pretty baffling to me.
Yeah, in the pro league, it's certainly one thing, you know. When it comes to this guy being a 50-year-old master for whatever he was trying to accomplish, it's funny when you mention, the 15 minutes of fame. It really doesn't even give a guy that, you
Yeah.
know. I don't know if there's anybody out there that could tell me the name of the competitor that we saw, even the show there a couple of weeks ago of the guy that was doing his dancing routine. Everybody was commenting on it, but I didn't hear anybody mention the guy by name, you know. If anybody, it was very, very few.
Yeah.
And it's already forgotten.
Yeah.
It's already forgotten. I think now that the conversation is kind of compounding based on especially the fact that Nick kind of threw his opinion out there on it. I'm kind of with you on it, to be honest with you. Like, if you had a goal set out for yourself to get on stage and after losing a bunch of weight, kind of thing. I mean, yeah, that's a massive accomplishment. And if you're proud of yourself, that's great. There is still an amount of integrity that goes along with the sport, though. So there's a balance in there somewhere. When it comes to the pro league, it's absolutely unacceptable as far as I'm concerned.
No,
That's not
absolutely.
acceptable.
Yeah, no, I think if you're going to get up on as a pro, I think they should have rights to like penalize you in some way. You know what I mean? And I think they should. They should make an example out of somebody. And again, a pro, like someone that's a pro that's expected to be a certain way on stage and put the work in and present themselves properly. If you're going to get up and again, because it's why they're doing it, right? They're doing it for clicks and likes and to get more followers or some shit like that. You know what I mean? Which is not the right intention. So I think they should penalize somebody, maybe like ban them from competing for a year, just so that people stop doing this dumb shit. That's.
When the posing is not necessarily judged, it makes it difficult to penalize. I think it could make it difficult that way.
Well, I think
Although if you just
dancing and posing are two clear different things.
That's
Like you're
fair.
not you're
What's
not
that?
going to hit a shot.
Okay. In an hour? Okay. Kristen's just going biking and she's going to do an hour. I am dead. There's no, I couldn't even ask her to wait for me right now. I'll check on you. Yeah. Now, even my boy, he's been asking to come out at, not to sidetrack too much, but actually I might here. My boy's been asking to go for more runs. Dude, I had something fucking crazy happen yesterday. Holy shit. My boy came to me. I was mowing the lawn and he was like, Dad, I want to go for a run. And it was like the second time he came to me about it. So I was like, first time is one thing. Second time he wants to do this. I was like, all right, well, we got to go do this, right? So I don't want to run up the store. But we got a store that's probably 3/4 of a kilometer away. You have to cross a road in order to get there. And it's a fairly busy road. So we crossed the road, went to the store. When we were coming back, dude, there's a set of stoplights. The ones you press the button, the lights flash, all the cars stop. Well, we are always very adamant. And God bless Kristen for this because she reinforced it for years. Stand back, wait for the cars to stop, and then you can proceed. Like even off the sidewalk, you're standing on the grass. Well, dude, one car started stopping, and I walked out to see the other side of the road. There was another car that was coming on the side of the road that we were on. He swerved into the center lane because there's another lane where you can turn into my house. Swerved into the center lane, then he whipped back again, and at that point he was probably about 100 feet off for us, and I was like, "Oh, there's something happening here, right?" My boy ended up walking onto the sidewalk. He was about, I want to say, 7 or 8 feet in front of me, and the guy came up over the curb between the light pole and the other car that was parked straight toward the two of us, and he was probably about, I want to say, 40 or 50 feet away. I don't want to exaggerate, because it was a high stress situation, but dude, I have never had an image burned into my skull like that. I scooped up, I scooped up my boy. I took off onto the neighbor's lawn, probably about 20 feet off. And as they were rolling by, the woman in the passenger seat was like, "I'm sorry, the brakes let go." So they pulled into the Ultramar there. We went and talked to them, and the guy was like, "Yeah, the brakes. I don't know what the hell happened or anything like that." Dude, it, near death expect like me and my boy almost got took out by this SUV, dude. Like it was very, very close. And he was just standing there looking at it. I was like, holy fuck. I'm telling you, the dad instincts kicked in immediately. But I couldn't believe it. Like,
That's crazy.
dude, very,
Glad,
very close.
glad you
Holy
guys are okay.
shit. Oh, everybody was okay. It was just like it was an immediate reaction. There was it was no thinking about it whatsoever. I grabbed him, took off onto the lawn, and then actually started walking toward the car. I took him by the hand. He was quite upset, walked about 40 or 50 feet down. And I looked at him and I was like, shit, I don't know if I'm going to kill this guy or what. But I was like, I got to hold on. Dude, are you okay?
Yeah.
Like physically, I knew he was okay. But he was, yeah, pretty shook up, man. Like it was one of those situations. Very high stress. But yeah, everybody was good. Anyway, what were we talking about? I didn't want to veer off that too much. Right. The guy in his posing routine.
The posing routine shit.
Yeah, yeah, okay. There's integrity that needs to be preserved within the sport, and now that this has happened on more than one, more than two occasions, I think you're right. There has to be something within the judging that says this is another rule of you're not within the mandatory posing guidelines or something to that effect. You're going to be marked down. You know, guys get marked down for even not performing the proper poses correctly. 2024 Texas Pro, when Andrew Jack did he did a front tricep pose, is what Tyler Mannion called it, right? You'll get marked down for that now. It has to be a true side tricep. So if you're not even allowed to do a variation of a pose like that, a mandatory, why is it that you can still come in and do these dancing routines?
Yeah, I don't know, but it's good that they do. They're cracking down on the mandatories. They need to do the same thing with the ab and thigh because a lot of guys will do this like side crunch, like oblique ab and thigh, and then you have all the other guys hitting it straight on like it's supposed to be done, and it's just a completely different pose. It's like the mandatory poses should be the mandatory poses. You shouldn't be able to change them at all, or you should at the very least have to hit the mandatory for like a 5 second hold, and then maybe do a variation into something else. But like, yeah, I believe that if you don't hit the mandatory pose the way it's supposed to be done, then you should just lose that pose automatically. Like that should just be like, yeah, you're DQ'd from that pose. Which obviously that would be like the same as like an MMA fighter doing an illegal strike against an opponent and losing a point. Like that's huge. Like when it comes down to judging, right? So yeah, I think that's what they should probably do there.
And like you said, it could go as far as even, you cannot compete in, an organization for 6 months, a year, whatever it might be. If this continues, it might have to come to something like that because
Yeah.
it's just it's not preserving the integrity of the sport. And like you said, that's beyond the fact of somebody that is obviously an amateur that's looking for potentially an amount of attention. But regardless, the attention is getting there and it's not putting the rest of the sport really in a good light. Who else is going to catch wind of this and be like, well, I could stand out. It's not going to work.
And like I remember there was a video of this like YouTuber, like TikTok kid, and like he just did a bodybuilding show, like didn't train for it at all. Like he looked like crap and just made a mockery of it. Like, and
Yeah.
it went viral on social media. So I almost think at like registrations, like, if they're doing a weigh-in or height in with a kid and like, he doesn't even look like he works out, they should maybe be like, hey, what are you doing here? Like, what's the intention here? And again, if it's one of those cases where the kid's like, oh, like I know I don't look that good, but I lost 80 pounds, and he can show a picture on his phone, hey, like this is what I used to look like. They'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, we get that, right? But you're just some kid trying to come on and make a mockery of the sport. Like, why are the powers that be and the promoters allowing this shit? Okay, I understand you want to make money, but like, is getting a $250 registration fee from a TikTok kid so he can make fun of the entire sport worth it to you? Like, is that really how low you are? Like, is that how money hungry you are? I think those are things that need to be questioned as well.
I think it's a situation potentially where certain promoters may not want to even have that conversation. That's
Yeah.
embarrassing too. It's a difficult conversation. Listen, man, I don't think that you really want to go out on stage like this. It's embarrassing, and I could see an amount of backlash. Somebody, to the same token, taking to their social media at that point, I was disallowed from competing by this person or something like that, right? So
Whatever.
there's a
I'll be that guy.
yeah, I know you would.
Bring me to the shows. I'll fucking check everyone's physique.
Well, there is something that does need to be done there for sure. It shouldn't be that difficult of a conversation, but it's the generation of hurt feelings, man. There's no getting around it.
I would just ask them because you'll know right away. Just ask them like, what's your intentions with being here today?
Yeah.
Right? Like, okay, where do you train? What gym do you train at? How long have you been dieting? If they can't answer these questions, then you know that their intentions for being there are not going to help the sport. You know what I mean? Like, would they let a kid try out for a hockey team if they knew his entire intention was to go in there and skate around like a ballerina the whole time and get his buddies to stand in the stands and take videos of him making a mockery of everybody else and what the coaches are trying to do? And, like, no, that would never be allowed. Right. But in bodybuilding, we managed to let these people slip through that just want to make a joke of everything. Right.
Well, see, in a mockery situation, that's one thing, but these guys seem to be serious.
That, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. It's hard to say what their real intentions are. We obviously
You're
don't
right.
know.
You are right about that. You are right about that. I don't know, man. There's a lot of questions of the current judging as it is, and these have been ongoing questions for quite a while. Should the posing routine be judged? Why aren't we getting more information on why somebody won over others? I've actually seen conversation going around now of the judges' score sheets being changed altogether to include things like a column for your score on muscularity, symmetry and proportions, conditioning, because at the end of the day, we really don't know why guys won over the other unless Tyler Manion comes out on NPC News Online and makes a video about it.
Yeah, yeah, it's going to get tricky with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with the judges. I think it's okay to have 5 or 6 individuals who are very experienced and have agreed with the executives of the IFBB what they're looking for each division. And I think that they should be able to place people how they see fit because ultimately that they're the best, right? And the thing is, I don't really see much judging that I don't agree with at the pro level. There's close calls all the time, and when there's close calls, sometimes it's a case where either person could have won, and the judges just went with somebody for whatever their own reasons were. But that's just sport. You're going to see that, but because of social media and everything, it's not like it used to be. I think there was probably more politics back in the day. But now it's like they're live streamed and there's all this content coming out of every show. Like as soon as prejudging starts, like there's pages posting these guys before before the prejudging is even done. So it's like if anyone gets blatantly robbed, it's going to be obvious and people will kick up a big fuss about it. And the judges don't want to deal with that shit. I think they're really trying to make the best calls possible based on what they see. So I just wonder, it's like as a competitor, it's like, okay, if you're gonna start having all these columns with like muscularity, conditioning, symmetry, how long are we gonna be out there posing for, man? Like they're gonna have us out there fucking hours so they can look at every single person and break it down. I don't think you can judge bodybuilding like that. I think that because of the way these shows are done, these judges need to be really good at what they do, and they need to like you hear about Tyler and Steve, for example. Like these guys will look at most guys just once. They give you a look, they kind of let you hit every pose, okay, and they can place you based on what they see up there. Like they're really good at what they do. And then, in between shows, they deliberate and talk to the other judges and they figure it out. And that's how they ultimately make the best calls, right? But yeah, so I think it's fine where it is. I think if you start getting into too details and you start getting too statistical, I think it's going to make things even messier, man.
Well,
Right.
you make a good point about shows being longer. They are too long now as it is.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, and you even see that because it's like, if the judges need to make a couple guys battle it out, they'll do it. But they're generally trying to judge like pretty quick. Like you're out there, you're not holding poses for more than 5 seconds. Like your pose, okay, pose, move on. maybe do a second round. They move you around. They'll do another round, and then okay, second call out. Same thing. Okay, third call out. Okay, prejudging is done, guys. Maybe they bring back the top two for like a final call out kind of thing. But that's it, though, right? Because again, especially at these bigger shows like Tampa and Texas, they got every other pro division. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, that's a lot of judging they got to do, right? So
So you're saying the fact that you're hitting this post for 5 seconds, it's your job as a competitor to make the most of those 5 seconds to make the best impact.
yeah, I know for me, like when I'm on stage, the biggest thing is like composure and confidence, first of all. Like you
Yeah.
don't want to get out there and be overly excited because a lot of guys will pose too hard initially and they gas themselves out, right? You got to be ready to pose 3, 4, 5 rounds for sure. So you want to go out there and just be composed and just hit your poses like you've been practicing them, hold them, be like a statue, present yourself well, give the judges something to judge. Like if you're up there like shaking and squeezing and overhyped, it's kind of just distracting to the judges because they're trying to look at your physique, but then there's all this shit going on, right? Um, so I think that's how you position yourself to get the best look. Go out there, hit your poses, get in there early. Make eye contact with the judges. Like, hey, here I am. This is my front double. Right? They get a good look at you. Okay, next pose, and then they got to decide.
Absolutely. No, but you are right about the fact that this any change when it comes to something like that, especially adding in more, nobody is looking to add more into bodybuilding competitions right now. The conversation is around less, saving time for all of the athletes' sake. You could not put any kind of judging, especially in a position where you make a very good point on that. You could not make judging any longer because athletes will fade too, right? That's the other
Dude.
side of it.
And listen, for the other divisions, it's not so bad. For most of the female divisions, they're just kind of going out there holding the pose. Men's physique, they're just going out there kind of holding a relaxed pose. I'm not saying it's easy, but dude, bodybuilding posing is like a totally different beast. It's like, classic's not bad, but we have like 3 or 4 more poses than even those guys do.
Yeah.
And we're all big guys, heavily muscled. The more muscle you have, the more oxygen that you're burning through. It's taxing. That's why we put so much emphasis on posing practice and prep because it's like you can be in great cardio shape, you can be in great gym shape, but holding muscular contractions for long periods of time and not letting your stomach get out of control and not sweating is a totally different aspect to the game, right? Um, so yeah, I mean, us big guys can only be out there for so long, or else they're gonna have 15 huge guys sweating all over the stage out there because you can only pose for so long before the waterworks start.
Yeah, it's going to end up being too much. Like you said, in the open, not something that you're going to run into as much, but even these other categories that were athletes, it could be 30 deep. The Olympia is going to be 50 deep in some categories already.
Yeah,
50
yeah.
competitors, man.
Every
We
year.
were complaining about this for 2 years in a row. Well, I've been complaining about it for 2 years in a row now. It's gone on longer than that, but it's insanity. It's too much.
Yeah, well, you know what? In those other divisions, I think they need to do something with the amount of shows that they're having because there's so many shows, dude. I know a girl from here who was just in Vegas. She did a figure show that's just figure, right? And it's like, so it's just, so they have these types of shows every weekend with the classic, the men's physique, the bikini. They do all these little shows. So then you get these girls going winning these shows, and then you get the girls winning the big shows like the New York Pro, Tampa Pro, things like that. And then by the end of the year, there's like 60 people qualified. And it's just like, maybe we just need less shows. Like maybe you should only have 30 shows that qualify people for the Olympia. You know what I mean? And maybe even have these other pro shows, right? That people can go win money at so that there's still opportunity for exposure and stuff. And then I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how to do it. I don't know. Maybe they need to go back with these other divisions, not bodybuilding. I think in open bodybuilding, you should have to win a show that gets you to the Olympia. I
100%.
I think in these other divisions where they have 50, 60 competitors at the Olympia, maybe they need to bring it down to be like, okay, we have 15 shows that if you win, you automatically qualify for the Olympia. And then we have like tier 2 shows where if you win 2 or 3 of these shows, you qualify for the Olympia. So if you want to go do these smaller shows that nobody's in, you got to win a couple of them to get your qualification. You know what I mean? So maybe that's a way to do it so that they can still have, so all the promoters can still have their shows. But, you know, the athletes need to do a little bit more with those smaller shows to actually get to the Olympia. And that way, even if you bring it down from 60 guys in classic to 35, like that's a nice drop. You know what I mean? That's like basically what, 5 7-man call outs, right?
Yeah.
That's judgeable. That's judgeable. You can get a good top 10, top 15 out of that, right? So yeah, I don't know. I don't think they'll ever change anything though, to be honest with you.
I it's tough. It's tough. There's no getting around it. Even when it comes to the tiered system, like you talked about. At first, when I heard about the potential for, like the consideration, I guess you would say, about a tiered system for certain shows, I was on the side of, more the promoters thinking, well, my show is going to be lessened as a potential, right? Like, is the France Pro coming up or the China Pro going to be considered a second tier show, a third tier show? Well, who's going to want to show up to that, right? We're going to make less money. But as a potential, the athletes could strategically pick these shows as well to their advantage. So I think that there could be more positive merit to that than what I first considered. There's still more conversation to be had, but there's potential, right? Somebody that is not going to come in and win a what we would consider a first tier show, Dubai Pro, Texas, New York. Well, you could still make your way to the Olympia as a potential if you put in the work in order to take home a couple of tiered show wins, right? It would still potentially create a situation at the Olympia where there's still maybe too many athletes, but I think that there's conversation when it comes to, an elimination round has been something going around too. There might be potential for that, but the more that I see talk about it, the more I see flaws as well. So maybe that's not necessarily the solution.
No, yeah, I don't think that will work, honestly. Yeah, that's tough. That's
Yeah.
tough. It's too bad for these guys because it's like you make it to the Olympia and it's like you don't even know if you're going to get a look. It's like you can't 60 guys, and these are all good physiques. These guys who won pro shows. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, and we see that every year. Like you'll see a guy in like the top 10 call out, and then you'll see a guy like in the third call out, and you're like, man, this guy might be better than the first call out guy. You know what I mean? So that shit happens, unfortunately. But yeah, we'll just have to see how it all plays out. Maybe they try to like change some things for this Olympia and how they run it. I'm interested to see what they do this year. And then I feel like right now the Olympia is probably the best place it's ever been with the crew they have behind it, the promoters they have behind it. So I know that they're doing everything they can to keep it, running as smoothly as possible. They listen to the feedback. They know it goes for a long time, and they want to keep people interested. So I think every year it's just going to keep getting better.
I agree.
Yeah.
I believe Dan Solomon said that he was going to put more of an emphasis on a black backdrop at the Olympia this year, which even just that is going to be a pretty significant change.
It's absolutely necessary, man. It's necessary at all these shows. And we're not saying that you can't have your video screens and stuff. Just have the black banner that we stand in front of to pose and get judged, and then have all your shit above,
Yeah,
right?
above sides, fine, no
Yeah,
problem.
yeah, but just have that area on stage where you can have 6 or 7 guys lined up and posing, and they're all in front of that black curtain. You know what I mean? I think that would be huge,
Yeah,
huge.
you could choreograph that. I thought about it a little bit more. You could choreograph that black LED screen if you still want to go that way. In between where you have it could be callouts, it could be divisions, have it in between there, with it being flashy colors and sponsorships and anything like that, emphasis a sponsor, say like a main sponsor of an event. Okay, we're going to put your logos in between, like right in the very center of the stage, not one of these ones on the outside banner, in between divisions or something like that, right? There's ways I think that you could do it where the athletes benefit, the sponsors still get their bang for their buck. There's ways to do it.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. They just got to get creative, man. That's where your creative team has to come into play and figure this kind of stuff out, right?
Yeah, you're right about the Olympia crew, though. They have very passionate, very experienced people in the administration right now, and they are looking to continually progress. That's one thing that you can definitely say. So I do think that the Olympia is going to be better this year.
And I love too like this competitiveness between the Arnold crew and the Olympia crew. Like I think that's great for the sport. That's great that they're both just trying to outdo each other. Every year the Arnold's getting bigger. Every year the Olympia's getting bigger. More prize money. Like that's phenomenal. Like that's something that we hadn't had before. Now this last couple of years we have this like obvious kind of beef. I will say friendly beef between the Arnold and Olympia crew. But it's making things exciting, you know. Hearing like $750,000 for like first place, like, gee, that's like life changing money, man. Like, you know, or you're talking like, you know, so and that just takes the whole sport to a new level, and that's going to get more eyes on the sport. Like, you know, that's what I kind of always said about bodybuilding. It's like, you know, it's hard to convince people from the outside, the general public, to be like, oh, like look at these guys, they're like the biggest, best bodybuilders in the world, they're freaks in nature. Oh, first place is 10 grand. Like, okay, like they don't care. But then you take an outside person, you're like, hey, see all these jack guys on stage? Whoever wins gets 750K. The second place guy gets 500. The third place guy gets 250. Like, that's big money. People want to watch that. Who's going to walk away with that money? Like, you know what I mean? So that's just been massive. And now you're seeing all the other shows are bringing their prize money up. You got New York giving out 30, Pittsburgh 100, Dubai 140, you know, so and these promoters know that if they want to get the best guys in their shows and get the most eyes on their shows, which is ultimately going to make them more money, they're going to have to up that prize money, right?
It's trickled down to these other shows, like you said, and it does make it more exciting. Money talks. There's no question.
I mean, money makes the world go round, right?
That's it. Yeah, that's it. What do you think the Olympia is going to do this year? You think that they'll try to outdo the Arnold with the prize money?
What was the last Arnold prize money? 600?
600, and they're putting it up to 750 next year.
Oh, damn. I hope I do good in these shows. I'm going to apply for the Arnold for sure. If I do, yeah, yeah. If I'm competitive in these shows, I will definitely be applying for the Arnold. Um, yeah, I mean, I could see him going up to 750 to try to like do it before the Arnold guys do it. You
Yeah.
know, they haven't announced anything like that yet, have they?
No, they haven't. I think it's honestly the race to a million. Whoever hits a million first, you've got the biggest show in bodybuilding, even
Listen,
if it's the Arnold.
maybe we'll see that from the Olympia this year. They could
I
just be
think,
like, they could just be like, fuck it. Like, let's do it this year. Because especially this Olympia is shaping up to be a crazy fucking Olympia. Like there is like the top 10 of this Olympia is going to be nuts. You know, especially with Rubiel coming in. You got like Samson, Andrew, Derek, Hottie, Martin, Good Vito's in there, Nick's in there. Like, god damn, you
it's
know.
insanity. Yep,
If
there's no
Beirut,
question,
if Beirut gets over here, you know,
right?
that's a big game changer right there. You know, that's crazy exciting. So if this is the year to do $1 million, like for sure, you know.
The caliber of physiques is definitely backing it up. So if they're going to play that card, this is the year.
Yeah, that's what I mean, dude. Like I'm
Yeah.
going to this Olympia regardless. Even if I don't qualify, I'll be there watching. So I'm stoked.
Oh, you're going to go.
Yeah, I've never been before, man. And the way I look at it,
Okay.
like, okay, I'm obviously going to get some exposure this year competing in the States and Europe. So it makes sense to do the shows and then go show face at the Olympia and just kind of be present and meet, you know, and hopefully I pick up a few new fans, you know, while I'm competing, and then maybe I can go make some connections and stuff. And, you know, again, the goal is to compete. Like I'd love to get a W and qualify, of course, right? But I think, yeah, either way, I'll be there.
Well, those shows are close to the Olympia as well. You could maintain a good physique and walk in there and still be jacked and fucking cut too.
Well, yeah, Germany's actually the very last qualifier
There you
for
go.
the for the year. And so I don't know who's going to show up there. I know Sergio Oliva is doing Italy, and Germany is the week after. So I could see him probably showing up to Germany if he doesn't get his qualification in Italy. But there is some good European guys over there. So I'm excited to go up against some of those guys. You know, Mark Hector's another guy. I think he's doing Italy. So could very well see him in Germany as well. He looks fucking
Okay.
crazy. Yeah, he looks really good. So there's gonna be heavy hitters at every show, you know.
These are good names to stand next to, man. These are excellent names to stand next to. You know, these are guys that are on the taller side, on the bigger side. This is right up your alley. Again, this is getting to be right up your alley, guys. You can compare with.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You know, as we're getting closer, I'm getting more and more excited. Like, you know, be on stage around 295. That's big, man. That's big.
I'm getting excited thinking about it now. Honestly, like this, it's going to be crazy, man. I'm going to be watching for sure.
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah, I'm stoked, man. Yeah, well,
No,
won't be long. Won't be long.
no, it won't be long. Is right. Okay, there's one last thing that I wanted to ask you about before I let you go.
Yeah, sure.
When it comes to IFBB AMA, right?
Yeah.
Because I know you guys are doing great things. You're on there really often lately. You and Frank McGrath have a show on there, right? So what's the name of that show?
Two newfies and a joint.
Two Newfies in a Joint, right?
Yeah,
How do you guys get away with that shit on YouTube? Like, do you guys keep your monetization? Like, how does that work?
it's not on YouTube.
Oh, it's not.
We just put the previews on YouTube, like 10-minute clips and stuff. And then if you want to watch those full podcasts, you have to go to ifbbama.org.
Yeah, but you guys are still on there with joints, like on YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess they just don't worry about the monetization. I honestly don't know. Like I just do the content and I have nothing to do with
Oh,
posting
okay.
or anything like that. Yeah.
Okay. No, I was just curious because that's always in question. Like anytime I have Lee Priest on my show, I'm like, fuck, am I going to lose my monetization here? Right? It's always the one thing that everybody looks for.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, I don't pay attention to that stuff, man. They that podcast does really well though on IFBB.
Yeah.
It's one of the most watched shows. So yeah, people love it. I mean, I think I'll be honest with you, I don't smoke near as much weed as I used to. Like not even remotely close. Like right now, I kind of just smoke a joint before I go to bed, and that's
Yeah.
pretty much it, right? Um, but weed is definitely like prevalent in bodybuilding because obviously we can't really drink, we can't really party and stuff like that. So I think weed is something that a lot of bodybuilders use, kind of take the edge off. Obviously, I find for me in the off season, it's a great tool because I eat so much food. It can really help with your appetite, helps with sleep, in my opinion. I'm naturally I've been smoking weed almost my whole life because I'm naturally like a really high strung individual. Like I find it very hard to like not do things. Like I can't calm down. Like I need to be productive at all times or I can I'll go crazy. So for me in the nighttime, like weed just is kind of that thing that will actually put me on the couch and get me to sit down and like chill out and relax. And right now in prep, it's been key because in the off season, dude, like I will work until like 10, 11 o'clock every night. Like if I have the energy, but in prep, it's really important to get good sleep and to have some time where you're doing nothing and let the cortisol levels come down and get your mind ready for the next day. So around like 7:30, 8 o'clock usually, that's when I'll maybe like take a couple puffs, get on the couch, just enjoy my last two meals, turn my phone off, and do that and get ready for the next day because prep is so demanding. Like if I'm up working till 10 or 11 and then I just go to bed and next thing I'm open my eyes and it's go, go, go again, I'll I'll kind of get I'll stop enjoying the process and I'll get agitated and I'll start to resent it. So I think that downtime is key. So I think the weed kind of helps me do that because without it, I can't really turn off, you know? Yeah.
Now, when it comes to bodybuilding, it seems to me that it's treated as another supplement that needs to be ingested when it has its benefits, right? And for you, if it's key benefits, then it's really no different than any other supplement in that sense, from what I can see.
Yeah. But I also don't want to be here like promoting it because I think if you're someone who doesn't smoke weed, I don't think you should start. Right.
Same thing with steroids when it comes right down to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if your goal is to be an IFBB pro, like that's different. Like that's the route you're gonna have to take.
Yeah.
Like, listen, I don't love steroids. Like, I love
No.
what they do for me, but injecting steroids is the worst part of my day. It's not pleasant at all, right? Um, and with the weed, it's like it's something I actually plan. I'm really hoping to work on giving up completely in my next off season. Like I
Yeah.
said, I've cut way back from off season to prep because you don't want to be smoking weed all day in prep because you're just gonna be thinking about food, right? So,
Yeah.
but in the off season when I'm back eating normally and stuff like that, I'm really hoping to kind of get rid of it for good because it does. You do rely on it somewhat. Like I know, like I'll be honest, even for me, like when I travel and stuff, like I need to like find something because it helps me sleep. And if I don't have it, my body's so used to having it before bed, like I might not sleep at all, right? Which is detrimental to recovery and everything else. Uh, so it's kind of annoying in that way, right? So yeah, it definitely has its benefits, but like anything, man, it can definitely be addictive, and your body can start to rely on it and it can become a crutch. So, and that's just me being totally honest. Like I don't want to be one of these guys that's going to sit here and try to make every excuse as to why weed is good and it's fine and to make myself feel better because that's bullshit, right?
Yeah. No, look, man, we all have our vices. If I was to say I had one, it would be that. Now, I am very casual when it comes to stuff like that, right? But if I was to say that there was one, that would be where I'm at with it too. But again, it's something that you can treat with an amount of, is this helping or is this hurting? And when it gets to the point of hurting, that's when you have to say, look, this has to go, right?
Absolutely, man. That's what I mean. It's all about control, discipline, just like anything,
Yeah,
moderation. If you got to have control over, like if you need to wake up and you need to get high just to start your day, you got a big problem. You got a
yeah,
big problem. You know what I mean? You should be able to carry on. It should be used for like that downtime, relax. Like,
exactly.
if you got to smoke weed so you can work, or you got to smoke weed so you can go train, like that's not okay. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you need it all the time. That's not good, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, there's a balance in there and you've got to be able to recognize it just like anything else in life. So no, but I was curious about the IFBB AMA thing that way. Either way, it looks like the show's going great over there. And I love you on there with Frank McGrath. Like, really, you and Frank are the two pros that are closest to my geographic location to come into the IFBB, right? So it's pretty
That's
cool.
cool. I know. Listen, it's an honor for me to do stuff with him because I grew up. Frank was my hero. I would never would have dreamed in a million years that I would be doing content with him, on the weekly basis. And now he's a good friend of mine, and we're buddies. But he's someone who I idolized in my early 20s. So yeah, it's full circle for me, man. I feel blessed, honestly. That's the whole thing with this bodybuilding thing for me, man. Like this competing and stuff. Like I want to do good and I will do good. I'm not even close to done. Like I'm just getting into my prime now, I feel at 32 years old, finally filling out my frame. Like I got a good, hopefully 6, 7 years left of this where I'm going to continue to get better. Like, you look at the guys my height, again, reference back to Samson and Andrew. These guys are like 40 years old, like wait till I'm 40. I'll be fucking nasty, right? Um, but I am just so blessed to do what I do, to make a living at what I do. I can't believe I'm getting ready for the Tampa Pro. Like, just to go step on stage with the best bodybuilders in the world, get judged by the best judges in the world is like I can't. There's no bigger privilege in my mind. Like I've already won. Like I've won. Like if people watching this knew where I came from and the things I was doing with my life when I was 19 and 20 years old to the person I am now, successful entrepreneur, successful professional bodybuilder, living in an amazing place in Canada. Um, Dude, like anything more than this is just cherry on
Just
top.
gravy. Yeah.
Gravy,
Yeah.
man. It's fucking gravy. You know what I mean? So and it's so interesting because I remember getting ready for my pro debut and I was just all I thought about was the guys I was competing against, and I just wanted to beat everybody so bad, and and it wasn't my time, it wasn't even close to my time, and I set myself up for like disappointment. And now my mindset's totally changed. I'm like, man, like I literally just want to bring my best. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make that happen. And then the judges are going to see my best, and then they're going to decide, where I place. And based on their decision, I'm going to get feedback from them on what I can do better. And then I'm just going to go try to get better because I want to get better. I love bodybuilding. I just want to be the best bodybuilder I can be. And as long as I get to keep doing this, I'm gonna be very thankful for it. And then one day it's gonna come to an end, and I'm gonna continue on helping other people who want to be bodybuilders or get in shape and teach people how to do it the right way and pass on the knowledge that I've learned. Like, there's and as far as being successful in life, I can't it doesn't get better than that for me. Right.
Yeah. It's funny because I actually fulfilled almost every expectation that everybody kind of had for me in my life, taking over the dive company from my father. And I fought it for years, dude. I fought it. I was like, I'm not going to fight. No, everybody expect, no, I'll do something else. I was a jail guard. I went and worked at Sour Wells out in the oil patch, but everything just came back full circle. Although I will say that I did kind of make it my own thing. And even my father came to me there a few years ago and he was like, man, the stuff you're doing now, like I never would have thought the company would be like, like diving in the Arctic and shit like that. He was like, it's pretty crazy, right?
Yeah, it's badass, man. And look, you also make time for your hobby and you made something of it. You got a good YouTube channel going, right? Like, that's awesome, dude. Like again,
Oh
like
man,
life's
the
good.
the YouTube channel has been like from the start of it has been the gravy for me. Any amount that I got out of bodybuilding, I was just like wicked. You go into my comment sections, man, and I get like not just comments, but dude, I'll get paragraphs from people. And the reason that I started to begin with was because I just needed to talk bodybuilding. So now I'm able to do that with fans, with pros like yourself. Like it's all gravy, man. And I'm super thankful for it as well, you know.
And dude,
Like
we
honestly.
love guys like you, man. Like there's nothing cooler to me than a guy like yourself who's so passionate about the sport that's like not really in it themselves, but they take the time to do content like this, give us exposure. You know, just knowing that there's guys like you that are so interested as fans, like it's really motivating for us. Like, you know, because sometimes as a bodybuilder, you feel like the only people who care are like other bodybuilders, but it's not true. You know, there's a lot of fans out there and guys like yourself who love the sport. And you guys are all part of elevating it, getting it out there, giving because maybe a guy won't ever come to my channel and see me because I look like a hardcore bodybuilder and maybe he's not so into that, but then he likes you, right? But now because of this podcast, he got to see my personality through you, right? And now he likes me because he's like, oh, this guy isn't just this like hardcore bodybuilder, like he's actually like, you know, there's more to me, right? And then so like we're all helping each other here. We're all helping grow the sport and giving people awareness of you know what it is, and it's a lot more than just like getting on stage oiled up and tanned up, like you know.
100%, man. And, you know, it allows us to get the most out of it as well when it comes to the experience of bodybuilding. You're able to get more out of it, you know, like you said, aside from just the stage. And you know what? That is extremely important when it comes to years later and looking back. Did you get the most out of it? Every fucking ounce that you could have squeezed from it, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what we're trying to do, brother.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know what, dude? That is a great note to end on. You've got a few weeks left until the Tampa, then you got Texas, Germany. I'm really looking forward to seeing it, man. We'll be watching and we'll be getting in the coverage for sure.
Awesome, man. Again, I appreciate you for having me on, dude. I had a good time. Thank you.
No, it's all good. I'll put the link to your channel in the description below as well as the IFBB AMA. We'll end it there, man. So again, thanks for coming on.
All right, thanks, man.
All right, that's it for this episode of the Bodybuilding Breakdown. Catch you guys on the next one.